And now, another episode of MMA Gossip with your boys.
What's going on, boys and girls? We're back. MMA Gossip, episode number 39. We're trying to make up for the lack of energy in the room, boys. It's not looking good for the boy Trump out there. It's not looking too good, but we're going to truck on, do our best. This is, after all, an MMA podcast, not a political podcast, so bear with us. But anyways, today is Wednesday, November 4th. We're live. Anderson Silva just retired. We got a lot going on. MMA, the UFC never stops. Bellator is back. So we got some shit to talk about. With that being said, you know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe if you've been enjoying the content lately. Weekly, we are on YouTube, iTunes, fucking Spotify, the whole fucking nine, Amazon, everywhere you'll find us anywhere. So type in MMA Gossip, give it a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe. At MMA X Gossip on all of our socials. And just like that, we're fucking back, boys.
We're back. Yeah, we got to give credit to where credit is due, though. On a legendary career, Anderson Silva calls it a wrap after losing a TKO loss. It was hard to watch against Uriah Hall. It kind of looked like a sparring match going back and forth, and it looked like Silva had a chance to eke out a decision in the early going. But after that knockdown, I think it was maybe round 3, I was like, damn, I don't know, man. He eats another one of those shots, and lo and behold, it's exactly what happened. What you guys' thoughts on Anderson Silva's performance, Uriah Hall's performance, and Silva's overall career?
I mean, I think Silva's undoubtedly he's in my top 4, I'd say. But I don't fight again, dude. This is it. There's no Bellator either. Like, there's no Bellator. Please, no fucking bare knuckle boxing. Just call it, because at this point, you don't want to get that like fucking Chris, what's his name, BJ Penn vibe going, where you just get relentlessly beat up towards the tail end of your career and people forget how great you were. I mean, I looked the other day. I didn't realize, because he kind of like fought so often, how many times in a row Anderson Silva lost since he came back, except Derek Brunson. Like, just enough. As for Uriah Hall, the win really doesn't do anything for me. That he did what he was supposed to do. This was Anderson Silva's send-off, not a Uriah Hall, if you win, you get a title shot fight.
Anderson Silva, obviously, debatably one of the GOATs, top 2, top 3, definitely. If you have been number 1, you are totally right as well. You know what I mean? There's no arguing that. Clearly one of the GOATs, but yeah, I picked against him this week. He was actually one of my picks. It's just, dude, when you're 45 years old, father time catches up with everyone, and it was bound to happen. His career, I think he was like 1-7 his last 8, or 2-7 his last 9, something like that. And that's counting the Nick Diaz fight as a win. So it's just like, I don't want to see it anymore. I feel like he already tarnished his legacy, even though, like, I won't forget, but I feel like a lot of newer fans of the sport will. They'll just see him lose, again, 2-7 your last 9. That's what people remember. You know what I mean? Because that dates back to over 5-6 years ago. You know what I mean? So people just remember that. Where if he retired after breaking his leg against Chris Weidman, people would probably say he's an undisputed GOAT. You know what I mean? But he already has somewhat tarnished his legacy. But I don't want to see it go any further. Like Matt said, he still does have one fight on his UFC contract, but the way that UFC contracts work is they need to offer you a certain amount of fights per year to honor their contract, and therefore extend it. So I know Dana has him under contract now, but they would be in breach of contract if he didn't offer Anderson a fight by X amount of time, and he's clearly not going to. So he's going to release him, and it is sad because, me, Chrissy fucking Bellator, like, they'll scoop him up in a flash, and he'll be the main event of Bellator 300. You know what I mean? And with no doubt, bare knuckle boxing would love to fucking have him just for name value. But I would love to see Dana hire his, as like an ambassador or something of the UFC, just to keep him around, but just not fucking fighting. But Anderson, I'm almost positive he's going to fight again. So it is what it is. But respect to the absolute legend. I sound negative here. Like, he is one of the best ever, and I felt like he wasn't getting respect where it was due. He just main evented like a poopy Saturday night card. But, Uriah Hall, no offense, but like Matt said, he goes nowhere from this win. Even Dana was kind of bashing him after the card. He's like, Uriah Hall is the most gun-shy fighter in the UFC. I was like, yikes, that's not some way to promote, the guy that just beat the best fighter ever. But it is what it is.
That's so funny.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds bad, but 9 out of every 10 fighters who retire don't actually retire, and then Anderson Silva 100% falls into that category. You know, he built his life off of mixed martial arts, and he's one of those fighters that I cannot see, you know, leaving your gloves in the octagon and not fighting again. So it would be sad to see him go to Bellator or bare knuckle and just probably take more damage. But I do, if I had to put a bet on it, I think that's what he's doing. But yeah, let's talk about Bryce Mitchell cracking that top 15 with a nice win over Feely, man. I mean, I picked Feely. You guys picked Bryce, I believe.
Well, yeah, I picked Bryce for the prediction, but I thought podcast based on all the values on Feely. I thought it was gonna be a tough test, but we'll get into it.
Yeah, so go ahead, crack that open, Matt. What do you think about his performance? It was nice.
I thought he looked fucking awesome. I'm really excited to see what happens next because, as you guys know, Feely comes from fucking Team Alpha Male, where all they do is fucking wrestle, and Bryce Mitchell couldn't have looked more dominant, in my opinion, and his cardio held up, which to me it seems like early on he had cardio issues, and for like the last 3-4 fights, he's just going longer and longer with that grinding style. So I think I whatever is next for him, I'm all aboard his fucking train. I'm probably going to pick him until I see somebody that can out-wrestle him for 3 rounds. He might be one of those guys. And I was all over him betting-wise, of course. Chris?
Yeah, man, he looked fucking good. He definitely proved any doubts I still had wrong. I picked him on the podcast last week. I gave a breakdown of why I thought he was going to win. Then as it just got closer to fight time, the odds really weren't changing too much. And I thought that Feely was going to be his first legitimate test. And everyone hits a roadblock somewhere, and I thought Feely was going to be that roadblock for him. But he definitely is a dominant force. His grappling is legit as fuck. And I think a lot of strikers in the division beware. You know what I mean? If you're not well-rounded, Bryce Mitchell, you're in trouble because he could hold his own on the feet. And because I thought people thought that Feely could keep the fight standing and kind of dominate there, but he hung with him on the feet, took him down, and he was in his fucking world. So props to Bryce Mitchell, man. Camo shorts.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, Feely is the ultimate gatekeeper for the top 15, top 20. You know, he's not an easy fight for anybody. So if you're not top 15, top 20 ready, Feely's going to whoop your ass. And if you're ready for that top 15, top 20, you're beating Andre Feely. So he's ready for that shit. I'm ready for that next step. I think a great next fight for him. I was thinking about this before. Let's just do a really quick match make. Who's Bryce fighting next?
Oh, fuck. All right.
Ooh, you put me on the spot here. Let's see. UFC rankings. Let me see right now real quick. I just want to see who's in the top 15 at featherweight.
Yeah, caught me off guard there.
Let's see. Bryce Mitchell now so I wanted to see where he was. So he's 14 now. So above him is Ryan Hall, Shane Burgos, Dan Ige, Sadiq, Jeremy Stevens, Arnold Allen, Josh Emmett, Calvin Cater, Chance. Honestly, I really don't see too many. Like, again, I guess I'm still doubting Bryce Mitchell, even though I just said I'm not. But you look at some of these names. So there's Volk, Max Holloway, Ortega, Zabit, Yair, Korean Zombie, Cater, Emmett, Arnold Allen, Jeremy Stevens. That's the top 8. You know what I mean? It's like top 9. That's top 10 technically if you count the fucking champion, but that's crazy. Maybe is Sadiq booked?
I don't think so.
Arnold Allen is.
Arnold Allen is booked. Yeah, he was supposed to fight Jeremy Stevens recently. Yeah. That's crazy that Arnold Allen is ranked up that high. Like, what the fuck did he do to get that ranked so high?
He has 7 wins in a row.
Dude, I get it, but against who?
You're right. Not the best of competition.
I like him. He's fought nobody.
I do too, but he's just fought exactly.
Yeah, his last win was Nick Lentz.
That's what I'm saying, bro. And you're ranked.
Nick Lentz, Gilbert Melendez, Jordan Rinaldi, Mads Burnell. I mean Makwan, but that was when Makwan was like 2017 Makwan.
Yeah,
I mean, still, bro. Anyway, yeah, Bryce Mitchell's getting a top 10 opponent next. It's seeming like, unless he fights someone just on the fringe of the top 15, gets another win. Because if he did that,
for a spectacle, Ryan Hall, Bryce Mitchell would be sick.
I mean, and if you want to go balls to the wall and promote Bryce Mitchell like the way the UFC does, maybe they fucking put him up against Korean Zombie.
I think Dan Ige is the perfect next step for Bryce.
I was going to say the same thing, Mike.
Who just called out Dan Ige?
Not sure. I know that Ige and Bryce do have some sort of beef. I'm not really sure what the beef is.
I remember seeing that as well.
So, I mean, you want to build up a fight.
What do you guys think about Bryce's anti-mask rant at the post-fight press conference? Did you guys catch that?
I'm glad you brought that up, Chris.
I was going to bring it up.
So, like, first of all, my opinion is I don't give a fuck what he says. He's from, bumblefuck Hunt's Camo shorts. Of course he's going to say what he said. And me sitting here behind my computer chair in fucking New Jersey, the worst state in the world, I don't give a fuck what he says. Say what you want. I don't care. It doesn't bother me at all.
I took your opinion the wrong way for a second. I thought you meant he was like, fuck him. Like, I don't give a fuck.
Bryce is the man. He could say whatever he wants, and nobody should give him shit because who gives a fuck?
Yeah, I agree.
This up because I didn't like how people are talking more about that than how fucking good he looked this week.
Right. Talk about his performance.
That's what you're worried about is if he wants to wear a mask. And you know what? He has a fucking point. Why do I have to wear mine if you have yours? Like if your mask is so fucking good, why do I need to wear my shit? Like, dude, I hate this shit so much.
I can tell, dude. Look, Matt looks down. His Trump hat is flying. That's awesome. But anyway, moving on. I felt like the story coming out of the weekend, I guess because the election, like a lot, MMA's kind of been dropped down on the list, but no one has talked about a few things here. No one's talked about Bryce Mitchell's performance, Anderson Silva fucking retiring, the fact that Contender Series is today on a fucking Wednesday, and a few other things, Bellator being one of them, obviously, but it seems like. But anyway, so we already gave Anderson Silva his due, it seems, right? Anything else of note from this week's card? Anything coming out of last week's card that you guys think is important?
Nope.
Not too fucking much, right?
Yeah.
Nah, let's transition. What's next? You want to go right to Bellator?
Bellator, I guess. Or and Mike, I'm assuming check us out on Instagram, baby, at MMA GOSSIP. I'm sure Mike's gonna have something going on for our Contender Series tonight.
I do. I got one play for tonight. I'll get to it.
Yeah, Mike is the fucking man with that, plus a couple $1,000s. Lisa, his girlfriend, our manager, is probably living good, maybe getting some extra Christmas gifts because of that. Who knows? But anyway, tomorrow is Thursday, and Bellator is fucking back. It's Bellator 251. We got No Mercy versus Overtime. In the main event, it's Corey Anderson and Melvin Mann, who, if I switch their nicknames around, it's Overtime is Corey Anderson. But anyways, UFC 251 is back tomorrow on a Thursday. Prelims are on at 4:45. Main card starts at 7 p.m. I'm going to go on Bellator's website real quick and just scroll through anything of note. But, I mean, right off in the main event, Corey Anderson coming in at like -500 over Melvin Mann. I mean, Melvin Mann should have retired about 35 years ago, but he's got a big overhand, and that seems to be Corey's kryptonite. So you guys got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, for betting, if you just bet Manhuff, you don't bet Corey Anderson on against anybody that could somewhat punch.
Yeah, I'm not one to – I always say don't bet on the puncher's chance. This is the one fight where you do bet on the puncher's chance because, like, Corey is so dominant when he wins. He really is. He's so impressive in all aspects of the game. But when he loses, he gets flat-lined. And it's sometimes it's not even a big punch. Sometimes it is, and sometimes it's not. It's just like his button. Everyone's got that button that just puts your lights out. His button is fucking huge. You know what I'm saying? You got somebody with like an iron chin, and then you got somebody on the other side of the spectrum. It's Corey Anderson. So like when it comes to laying 500 to win 100, or laying 100 to win 350. In a situation like this, puncher's chance is worth it. But you'll never hear me say that other than this fight.
Yeah. How about you, Matt? Are you planning on laying a sprinkle or what?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a huge line. I can't not.
Fair enough. Co-main event is Tyrell Fortune taking on Saeed Salma. Salma is actually pretty highly touted. He's coming out of Titan FC, 6-1, but he lost his first ever pro fight and then is on a 6-fight run. Tyrell Fortune is 8-1. I think his only loss to Timothy Johnson is pretty brutal. So we'll see. I mean, there's no line on this, and I honestly don't know shit about Salma coming out of Titan. So Tyrell Fortune will probably be minus fucking 1,000 like he always is. Third on the card is, what'd you say?
All right, I was talking to myself. I'm going to try to find a line for you. I'm curious.
Is Mr. fucking Van Zant, Austin Vanderford is fighting on this card. He's fighting Vinicius de Jesus. I know nothing about his opponent, like legitimately nothing, but I'm sure they're trying to promote Vanderford rather. I'm pretty sure that de Jesus is coming from a smaller promotion and is on either a losing streak or lost his last fight coming into Bellator. So They're setting him up clearly. Derek Anderson is also fighting on this card. He's probably – so I saw the line. He's almost 3-1 favorite. He's great. He's another Bellator staple. Been fighting there for almost like a decade. He just fights too inconsistently. Like he fights like once a year, and I'm 99% sure this is his first time fighting in 2020. So just inconsistency has always been his kryptonite. He fought Patricky Ferreri, for example, and beat him twice. So, he's got talent. He KO'd Brandon Gertz, I know, and Brandon Gertz was just a co-main event last weekend. So he's still doing the damn thing. And that's the whole main card right there, those 4 fights. And then the prelims are nothing of note. The only thing I did want to note is Alex Polizzi, undefeated grappler. He's the guy that beat Rafael Cavallo when we were all on the Cavallo train still. And that line I said was super sketchy, and to avoid that one because of his grappling. So Polizzi's a legit grappler. This is a light heavyweight fight, and we'll see, because I know he's fought at light heavyweight and middleweight. And then that's pretty much it of note. I mean, Georgi Karakian or whatever, he's fighting too. I mean, he's been around for a fucking 100 years. Another guy that should basically be retired as well. But it is what it is, and that's Bellator 251. Not too hot of a card.
That's okay. On a Thursday, baby.
I was just going to say, we'll be tuned in on a fucking Thursday. Matt, let me know if you get those lines up. Like, I honestly, like, you guys know me, I don't really bet, so I don't even know where the fuck to find Bellator odds.
For some reason, they're not on that site that we use.
Best Fight Odds is usually my go-to, but they usually put them up probably like the day of, because again, they're fucking nobodies like half the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I noticed that when there's like a Bellator card, the lines get released very close to the event, as opposed to UFC, where they have the lines like weeks in advance sometimes.
There's no lines for these two fucks right now.
Right. So we'll see. But let me just talk real quick about Contender Series tonight. Really quick.
Please do, bro.
So I only got one bet in for tonight. It's Bruno Oliveira. He was supposed to fight KB Bular, who just fought Tom Breeze like 2 weeks ago. Tom Breeze like murked him. So Oliveira is fighting a new replacement. His name is Olgar. All right, he's a prospect coming out of City Kickboxing, and he's a late replacement for Oliveira. Oliveira is huge. He's 6'4", and he fights at 185, and he's huge. But this is taking place at 205. And Bruno Oliveira would have been like a minus 500 against KB Bular. Now he's a plus. He opened up at like plus 200, scooched down to plus 150. I'm on top of that. I think that, you can be a City Kickboxing prospect, but he's only 2-0. And he's got like 3 kickboxing matches. On late replacement, he's shredded. City Kickboxing is the fucking hot spot right now, and I think that's why the line is what it is. But I really do think that all the value is on Oliveira. The dude is a monstrous. He just beat Jared Gooden, who's a really highly touted prospect on the regional scene. He's actually fighting Alan Jouban, and I think maybe a week and a half from right now. So, if you got to win over Jared Gooden, really murked him across, like beat the shit out of him. So I'm really high on this Oliveira guy, and I think that's the play for tonight. There's another guy that's worth noting. His name is Vince Murdoch. He's coming from Team Alpha Male. He was supposed to make his debut against Jordan Griffin a while back, but he had some sort of problem with his brain. He had to get surgery, and it was like looking like he may never fight again. But here he is. He's coming back to Dana White's Contender Series. He's an underdog, plus 115, going against some really tough kid named Luis Saldana. Kid's been fighting his whole life since he was 17, so I really don't think it's going to be an easy fight for Murdoch. It would be a Cinderella story if he got that contract, but I don't see it coming, so I'm going to have to pick against him, but I'll be rooting for him, and I definitely not placing money there because I root for the Team Alpha Male guys almost all the time.
Absolutely.
And then the other 2 fights are pretty stupid and some really low-level regional guys, a couple late replacement matches that don't really matter, and then there was one fight that fell out. So I'm going with Bruno Oliveira to get that upset win, and I'll be rooting for Vince Murdoch, and I'll put that shit on Instagram because by the time you listen to this, it'll probably be tomorrow, and it'll be done. So
let's go. We got Chrissy Bellator and DWCS Mike. Let's fucking go.
Let's go.
But all right, boys, I think that brings us into this fucking weekend's card. That's about it. Not too much going on. I mean, MMA world never fucking stops. There's little things like, little things we can talk about, like Poirier, I think now is like almost fanboying from McGregor. It's kind of getting a little weird at this point. McGregor's always news. Gervonta Davis, I got to talk about boxing before I fucking forget. Laid out Leo Santa Cruz. That was fucking a brutal knockout. But again, I am a Gervonta Davis hater. I will openly admit that. But I want to see him tested. Like, Leo Santa Cruz is a fucking legit test, so I'm not taking anything away from Leo Santa Cruz. But Leo Santa Cruz fought down as low as 115. Like Gervonta Davis, fight someone in your fucking weight class. You know what I mean? Fight a contender in your fucking weight class. Like these guys are coming up to meet you. Why don't you come up and fucking bang with someone? You know what I mean? I mean, fair play to him. He makes the weight. But that's why boxing's fucking boxing with weight classes every 3 fucking pounds. Anthony Joshua also talking about boxing said he wants to fight Tyson Fury twice in 2021. I don't understand why he wants to fight him twice. I don't get it. That's just what he said. Or Alexander Usyk, who also won this past weekend. So yeah, man, I don't know. There's a little bit going on in boxing. Ryan Garcia's fighting Luke Campbell coming up. I mean, it is what it is. He says he wants to fight Gervonta Davis. I mean, that would probably be bad news for him, but we'll see. What else is going on in the MMA world, boys? I know Michael Chandler's calling for a top 5 opponent. Obviously, he deserves that. Bronx also calling for Hooker or Gaethje. I think he's deserving of those fights. That would be great matchups. I think Gaethje would make. I think Gaethje is the ideal person to make him absolutely fold. But another story for another day.
I would love to see that fight. I just want to see if Oliveira gets somebody like tough. Like you beat so many guys up that just like, are on the fence. But I want to see him against somebody good. Better than Dariush too, honestly. Like I like that fight. I thought it would be entertaining, but even better than him. Like give him somebody in the top 5, top 6.
I agree. Yeah. So I don't know if you guys want to talk about Glover Teixeira about to take on. No, I know, but it's the main event. We got to at least touch it. Thiago Santos, 36 years old, man, and Glover's like 41. God, these UFC cards are whack. I mean, quick pick. I got to go with Santos, but Glover Teixeira is the underdog king, so fuck it.
What do you think, Matt?
I'm going with Santos. I mean, dude, I always bet against Teixeira. I'm never, ever, ever, ever on the right side of his fight. So honestly, fade me here. With my luck, Santos will gas and Teixeira will fucking lay on him for the whole fight. I think Santos finishes him brutally inside a round, maybe a round and a half. I'm 100% going to place bets on the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, I think Glover's just due for a loss, man. He hasn't lost since 2017, I want to say, but I just think that a loss is coming his way. Like a hard hitter like Thiago. He's been on fought murderers row lately, and he put out fucking Jan Blachowicz not too long ago. So he laid the champ out, and actually that was kind of a little bit ago, but still. Anyway, he laid out the champ, so I'm not going to bet against him. You know what I mean? Last guy to beat the champ, I'm going to ride with him.
He also got laid out by David Branch.
Dude.
Wolf, I was their cage side, baby, and it was right on my side of the cage. That was crazy. Did not see that coming. So you're right. Fuck it. Glover Teixeira.
I hammered him in that, Chris. If I was there, I would have jumped over the cage.
Oh, you hammered Thiago?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
Dude, that's bad. Yeah. Like losing to David Branch is not a good thing. I wonder what the hell he's up to. David Branch, by the way, is looking absolutely gigantic. He's been training in his gym like animal. I mean, he's on all the steroids in the world again, which is pretty obvious. Him and Alex Nicholson are both fucking
Alex Nicholson.
That's your reaction. I love it. I love his Instagram and stuff. He's funny, but both of them just crazy. The way they train, they both train like, not that they're related in any way. The only thing I'm relating them is that both of them train like absolute nut jobs, and they're both steroid fucking freaks. So I feel like I should bring them up. But other than that, really, this card is pretty thin. I think that the UFC knows this is a really low news week in MMA, so the card's kind of thin. It's sad because Anderson Silva's fucking retirement. Like I keep going back to that, but he's not getting enough publicity on it, and it breaks my heart.
You know why it's not enough publicity? It's because he's on that skid. You know what I'm saying?
It's overdue.
If he fought, Chris Weidman lost and then rematched him, broke his leg, and then after that, it was his final fight, that would be getting the most publicity ever, because he's still at the, not his prime anymore, but he's still Anderson, the great Silva, but now it's just like, okay, we've been waiting for this for like 4 years now. Let's get it over with, sweep it under the rug. Let's get on to next week. It's a shame, but that's just how it is.
Yeah. Also, speaking of the great, Alexander Hernandez looked fucking amazing this week.
Yeah.
No, I mean, he was supposed to do that. You know what I mean? So props to him. He's back, I guess. You know, they'll probably fucking throw him right back in the top 15 and he'll get eaten by the Sharks again, but we'll see. Also, I'm saying these couple of quick points. I know Mike's going to want to touch on it because I just want to get these sound bites out there for future. Heinisch and our boy Brendan Allen, friend of the podcast, baby, this week. I'm all over Brendan Allen. I know the line keeps going back and forth, favorite, underdog, favorite. It's basically a pick 'em at this point. You know what I mean? It depends where you get the line, but I think Brendan Allen is great stylistically. This is a good matchup for him. His grappling is far superior, and I think that he's been training at Sanford MMA with fucking Henry Hooft and those guys, so his striking is going to be levels better than we've seen in the octagon, so I'm expecting big things out of him.
Me too. I'm excited to see him back in the cage after that, underwhelming win over Kyle Daukaus not too long ago. So I think a lot of people are thinking Brendan Allen is essentially a punching bag. Like he can take punches, but he's just not good with the head movement. He's not good at firing back. Like you said, working with Henry Hooft, I'm expecting levels, man. He's a young kid, 24, 25. He's going to be making mad improvements. And I really do think that his grappling is really underrated. Like, yeah, you can blame Tom Breeze for having mental hurdles, but he murked Tom Breeze. And Tom Breeze, when he's at his best, is like very, very good. And then he has wins over, Kevin Holland. Like, you can't disrespect his ground game. And, Ian Heinisch, great guy, mad respect, Spanish prison, 3 years, all that shit. But hey, man, I really don't think you are – I'm not going to say he's not UFC caliber, but he's definitely not top 15 caliber where I could see Brendan Allen making a splash in the top 15, maybe not top 5, but he can make a splash up there. So I really do think that this is Brendan Allen's fight to lose. And if he fights to his potential, I think that he's going to clearly win two rounds out of 3, if not submit him. And he cracks hard. Brendan Allen's got a couple of vicious knockout losses. Not the best stand-up, but, hey, he hit hard. Ian Heinisch doesn't like to get hit, man. I mean, when he fought that Russian's name that just lost to Chris Weidman, Omari
Akhmedov.
Yeah, Omari Akhmedov really brought it to him, and I really think that exposed Heinisch a little bit in terms of his gas tank and being ability to take punishments from a really tough guy. So I think Allen presents a lot of problems for him. I got a couple units on him already. I'm sure Matt's got 17 units on him already. So let's go, boys. Get this.
Let's do it, dude. And he's got to avenge his boy Mearshot's loss, bro, for real. But other than that, a couple other sound bites I want to get out there right now. Tanner Boser is getting his fucking meatball underhand softball pitch to home plate. He's calling a shot like Babe Ruth, and they're hoping he puts it on Andrei Arlovski. This is one of those times. Now, Boser's been on a little bit of a run. I've been all over him. I've made my picks a few times for the podcast. Haven't been wrong so far. This one's just a little sketchy to me because he does not a hard-hitting heavyweight, even though he does this year. All of a sudden, he's Mr. fucking knockouts. But he's not a hard-hitting heavyweight. He's more of a cardio heavyweight. And Arlovski, going to decision potentially with Arlovski is not great for someone with not nearly the experience of Arlovski. So him being a minus 300 now is a little bit sketchy. Matt, if you do me a favor, find out what the line is for Arlovski and Boser to go the distance.
To go the distance.
Yeah. Would love to know what that is. Also,
heavy odds, honestly. It's going to be a heavy under. It's going to be a heavy favorite.
That's what I'm saying. saying.
Heavy underdog, I think.
Oh, really?
Shoot.
Really?
I think so. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I thought
some technical difficulties.
It's going to be pretty even.
I like his boxing a lot. Heavyweight. His cardio is really fucking good. He's good head movement. I think he's going to stay active against Arlovski, which is, I feel like in all of his recent wins when people say, oh, he found his chin. Don't find your chin at his age. It doesn't happen. I'm not buying it. I just think it ends up being the type of fight that he turns it into. He's been making it kind of just a grueling match up against the cage lately and controlling his opponent, and he hasn't been able to take much damage. But I think Boser's going to be active enough to bounce around the cage and probably finish it with – I think he finishes it within 2 rounds.
Dude, if you can find that line, let me know because I'm just fucking curious, and I want to see if how that's going to look. But I wanted to get that out there. And also Gedalia and Yan Xianan, that line has not moved at all. And I thought that Yan was going to be a really big favorite come this time. So that's kind of sketching me out. It could either be the steal of the century or a fucking trick of the century. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's just hanging out there like bait to me.
Absolutely. It reminds me of the Korean Zombie line where it just was it stayed at 190 the entire time. And I everybody and their mothers was on zombies. So like I feel like the books were like, all right, let's keep it here, because then people are, maybe people don't know there's something sneaky going on with Ortega here. So let's just rack up.
Yeah, man. I don't know.
We'll find out if it's a trick line or not. I mean, I'm already on her, so whatever.
Yeah. Other than that, boys, not too much going on in MMA world, like we said. I know that props to Tito Ortiz. He took Huntington Beach. He was all over the Trump train. He basically used Trump's flags and promotions as his own and won. But when you are that popular and you just live in a city like that, people just vote for you because they don't know who the fuck else is running, really. So good for him. I know it's 15 candidates. So, when it's 15 candidates and you have a name recognition, people could face to a name. They just vote for you just because they fucking know who you are. So good for him, though, because keeping Huntington Beach red, baby girl. What's your name? What else? Oh, one thing I really wanted to talk about, which we could basically do a whole fucking podcast about. Hold on one second. Whitaker also and Izzy, that kind of sketched me out. So Izzy obviously is fighting Jan. That was kind of breaking news last week, moving to 205, doing the damn thing. But the whole John Jones saga, that just seems like a weird fucking fight to me. Like this fight could potentially ruin the whole thing. Although Izzy opened it almost 3-1, I think he is 3-1 now. And Whitaker enters the interview with Mike Bond of MMA and of MMA Junkie, and Whitaker was never even offered a fight. Like, I saw what he said after the fight, like, I want to take time off and go put up my Christmas tree with my kids. But Dana White took that as, he doesn't want to fight Izzy again. Like, bro, now Whitaker's like, what the fuck? Of course I want to fight Izzy. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I took that as a little bit weird. But the thing I really, 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 really wanted to talk about, which we could do a whole fucking podcast on, Andrew Yang, who was running for, obviously, Democratic nominee for president. He is big. Like, he's basically coming after Dana White. Like, there's potential that he could basically sit on some of a cabinet for Biden. And he was really big. He wants to come after Dana White, probably because Dana White's so fucking Republican. But he said that UFC fighters don't get paid enough, and he's all over that whole liberal train. Mm-hmm. And he's going to try to enact the Ali Act into MMA. Are you guys both familiar with the Ali Act? The Ali Act is basically, in boxing, makes fighters a free market. So, for example, like, Michael Chandler is a huge name, has no contract right now. So instead of now he's signed to the UFC, no one is signed, right? And the UFC is a promotion. Bellator is a promotion. One is a promotion. So you could literally be like, yo, Michael Chandler, come fight fucking Tony Ferguson. We'll pay you $500,000 each. And then Bellator could be like, no, if you guys fight for Bellator, we'll pay you each $600,000. You know what I mean? That's super fucking layman's terms, but that's the way it works. It's like more of a free market. So he's trying to do that. And then what happens is he wants them to get more from Reebok or now Venom, TV deals, the whole nine. So he's trying to get them paid more. Hey, dude, you know what I mean? They deserve fucking $1 trillion. But at the same time, so do fucking I, and so do you too for shit that you do. So I'm not going to, I'm not fighting for someone else's pay. I'm fighting for my own pay out here. You know what I mean?
Right.
People who have too big of a problem with that, like, make Dana White seem like the bad guy. While Dana White's opening up, Dana White has 600 fighters on the roster, aside from probably a couple hundred UFC employees and the Apex and this, that. Dana White has thousands of employees and creates thousands of jobs, and people still love to give him shit. But again, this is not the fucking political gossip. This is MMA gossip.
Sometimes it's one and the same.
Sometimes it is one and the same.
Speaking of which, let's close out the show with this. Like, what was that thing that you retweeted, Chris? I loved it. I forget who said it, but he said something along the lines of, hold on real quick.
Did I retweet it from MMA Gossip or from my personal?
You said from MMA Gossip, retweet. I promise you that your political opinions have zero value to MMA Twitter, especially when it's just mostly crying about fighters' political stances.
That was probably super fan. He's funny.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's hilarious. He cracks me up.
He's hilarious. He's like the biggest, like, he just tweets things like that. And like not even like that. Like, he'll just say things like, John Jones is such a stuck-up, selfish asshole. Thank God I'm a Conor McGregor fan. Like, shit like that. And like, people will be like, what do you mean, bro? Conor McGregor. Like, and he's just a fucking meme, and people drives people crazy. I think it's hilarious.
Dude, it's hilarious. He goes, oh, Bryce Mitchell with the anti-masks. Screw you. My new favorite fighter is Tito Ortiz. Like, You're hilarious.
Dude, that is hilarious. People take it so fucking literal too. It's amazing.
So funny.
So funny, but props to him. Shout out to him. Shout out to all the boys. Thank you, everyone. You know, Mark especially. I got to give a shout out to Mark. He always watches full episodes, so he'll probably be listening to this today, if not tomorrow. Everyone, Manager Lisa, if you can hear me, thank you for everything you do. Thank all the boys. Regardless of political opinion, the sun's going to shine tomorrow. As you can see, I probably have horrible video quality. I'm down the shore. It's fucking beautiful sun out here. So the sun will shine tomorrow. The moon is going to be there, and I'm living at the beach. I mean, granted, fucking sleepy Joe Biden's about to be president of the United States, but the Republicans got control of the Senate. Obviously, the House is still blue. But anyway, we're out here, boys and girls.
We're out here. All right, boys.
Fights will go on. Life goes on. Just like the UFC train keeps rolling. MMA keeps rolling. The news cycle never stops. MMA gossip's going to never stop. Episode 39, the boys.
Yeah. Be well, everybody. See you next time. Enjoy the fights tonight, tomorrow, and Saturday. And forget about the world. Make sure you eat, get plenty of sunlight. Turn off the news outlets. All right. Peace out.
From 2020.